Good morning, everyone. Happy Sunday. Like my hat? It's pretty cute, right? I got it from a liquor store for like only $2. I thought it was really cute. And I'm gonna go to see some waterfalls. I'll take you guys with me. I'm gonna try to count the waterfalls, so I'll share with you guys. But before I go, I just wanted to always share, always share some a little bit inspiration or knowledge with you guys. So this video, I want to talk about the cosmic mother, right, and what I've been decoding about it. So basically what I've been decoding, long story short, was there was a sacrifice, as we all know in Christianity, right? And the sacrifice was, they talk about Jesus. But when I'm going into my the Akashic records, I'm realizing, or my soul memory, I'm realizing that I'm just the messenger. I'm just telling you what I see. I'm seeing it looks like Jesus was really a female, and it was a divine feminine. And what happened was it came from the lineage of Ishmael, right? So Hagar and Ishmael. So I'm still trying to figure out. I want to say it's Ishmael, but it could potentially be that Hagar had a twin, and then the female was taken. And the female, according to Gabriel, looked like the firstborn would be the prophet. So it looks like maybe Hagar probably had twins, and the firstborn was a female. Or maybe Ishmael was a female, but all I know is there's something that happened where the divine feminine, which was connected to Eve, which is connected to the fall, which is connected to Sophia and Gnosticism, which is wisdom, or which is connected to Hokmah, and Kabbalah is the divine feminine. And as above, so below, according to we understand that everything's like a fractal. So because why I say it's a fractal is as above, so below. So what happens in the upper world happens below. And because everything's a fractal, we can understand patterns even in our own life. Like, for example, if you just analyze the patterns in your smaller life, you can understand that there's patterns, bigger things. So that's one of the things that I've used for my awakening is I've just kind of looked at the patterns. And then by understanding the patterns, I can understand the bigger picture, because everything just basically continuously have that pattern. So by understanding the universal patterns, you can understand how the universe works. And when you understand that, it looks like what happened was there was a sacrifice, as we all know that. A lot of times we always associate Yashua with being a masculine, but I'm realizing it was a female, because what happened was the divine feminine is the one that actually manifests and creates, right? So she's the one that is a portal between life and death. So the divine feminine is the one, she's literally a portal, a bridge, like, right? That's why the feminine is a bridge, because the feminine is a bridge between the upper world and the lower world, between life and death. She's the one that can bring in cycles of life and death. So that's why Yashua was a female, from what I'm seeing, and they sacrificed her primarily because they wanted her codes. Because what happens is, because Jesus was able to resurrect, and because Jesus was able to bring life and bring laws, and was able to be the prophet of the upper world, and was able to articulate for the upper world, there was a lot of strong DNA and codes in it. So what happens is, what I'm seeing is there was a sacrifice, but in the sacrifice it was intentional, because they needed Jesus to be passed away, so then therefore people can still worship him even though he's passed away, but not really sacrificing him, worshiping him as a dead God. And by a dead God, that means they don't have to really take the jurisdiction from the upper world. They're using him for, since he potentially is like the God of resurrection between birth and life and death, they wanted to really primarily rule the afterworld, which is death. So it looks like the lower realms is connected to the shadow realm, which is death, and therefore they can parade. They said, well, we won't be the gods of the upper world, but we can be the gods of the lower world. So what we'll do is we'll take the dead body, parade it to everyone, say this is your Messiah, because in a sense it is, because it's a prophet. But then we can use the DNA codes to build a shadow tree based on like an in-between world. So the shadow tree was built. So what happened was, it was like in the beginning there was the tree of life, which is the true body of the resurrection, and then there's a tree of knowledge, where you basically don't get resurrected, but you learn through duality on the holographic universe, through good and evil between the external world and your universe. But what they did is they chopped down the tree of life, which is basically the life, right? Tree of life. So basically sacrificed Jesus by cutting down the tree of life, trying to keep everyone on the tree of knowledge between your holographic universe, between good and evil. No one was able to ascend because the tree was assassinated, but then really wanted the people to focus on the lower tree, which is the tree of knowledge. But then they built a shadow tree on side of that by hijacking the codes of assassination, and therefore was able to build by using the voice, because it looked like Jesus was connected to the voice. So when God said, "Let there be light," Jesus was able to, Yashua was able to manifest with the voice of "Let there be light." So in essence, they were able to duplicate the voice and manifest a whole different artificial shadow tree based on the sacrificial codes of Christ. And therefore they were able to utilize the voice. But that's why when you see a lot of stuff, they have to still perpetuate the story, because the story and him is basically, they took a dead prophet and masquerade as him through his dead body, if that makes sense. So it's kind of like a dead cult when I'm realizing it. But now that, that can only happen because they didn't think that we would be able to awaken to this wisdom. But what happened is, it would look like the primary person that would be able to awaken or decode all this would be the manifestation of wisdom, right? So like, it seems like we all have our own gifts, so some people could be love, some people could be science, some people could be astrology, some people could be wisdom. So then that would be like the God, the archetype of wisdom. So it looks like the person that would be able to decode and understand everything that would be happening would be wisdom, right? Which would be the goddess of Sophia, which would be Athena, right? Because that would be wisdom that would be able to decode everything, and from that wisdom then could override and create laws that would be able to override the system that was in place in the lower world by making alliances with the upper world. And I think that's what's happening. So that's my video. I hope you like it. I'll see you next. And I will be creating a video about my waterfalls I see today, and I'll let you know how many I see. See you in my next video. Peace.